Here we go, and we're off. Okay, so welcome everybody to LinkedIn for Breakfast. Fantastic to have you here. What we're going to do today is we're going to go deep on posting strategy. And thank you for joining us. This is our kind of snippet of marketing madness that we get to do every single week. And we're very grateful for the support that everybody gives and also the interaction. There's going to be some interaction ahead of us today, an opportunity to meet people. So welcome to anybody new. Who's here for the first time? Give us a hand up or a digital hand up. Welcome Darren, welcome Jane, welcome Gregor, welcome Nicola. Welcome anybody that I missed there. Jane as well. Great to have you here. So this is our place. So what we like to do, particularly it's poignant when we've got lots of lovely new people coming along. We just want to share kind of our mission and why we actually do this thing, just so you don't think it's some sinister, dark plan of mine to capture attention. So our mission at LinkedIn for Breakfast is to really focus on helping entrepreneurs to be able to unlock the full potential of LinkedIn for two things, really. One is business development. So that's the kind of lead generation side of what we talk about and focusing on how to do that on LinkedIn. And the second thing is for brand expansion. So how do you get more known, more recognized, more people seeing things? And it's the brand expansion side actually that we're going to be focusing on a lot more today, because we're going to be talking about posting strategy and getting your content seen by more people who are not just in your network, but beyond your network. So we're talking about today. And look, our vision here is really simple. We just want to make this the best place on earth to learn LinkedIn for free. That's the game plan. That is totally focused upon that. And we hope we are going steps towards that. So with these events every single week, that's part of it. We also have this amazing community, LinkedIn for Breakfast community. And if you haven't joined this yet, please do. There's all the replays for all the content that we do in here. We got little mini courses in the classroom, all totally for free. And we also run things like a community corner on a Friday where we share things like our LinkedIn profile or our website link, so we can all kind of network with each other. And on Tuesdays, we have an engagement pod where we actually go and like and share each other's posts to be able to give ourselves a little boost of our posts. So loads of opportunity to kind of interact in different ways in there. And of course, it all costs my favorite number, which is free. Good. Okay, so jump into that. And I think Flora, if I'm not wrong, has probably put the link. Have you put the link into the chat there? Look at that. Fantastic. Yes. So in the chat, the link that Flora has added there for LinkedIn for Breakfast to go and join us in that community. Right. So our agenda for today. So 45 minutes, that's the promise. And I'm going to kind of rant for about 20 to 25 minutes around LinkedIn posting strategy and give you 4 kind of ideas on what makes a great LinkedIn post. We're going to be looking at the algorithm, and we're also going to be looking at how LinkedIn is ranking you and your authority as well. So some really great kind of aha moments, I hope, that we'll deliver within this first part 1 section. Part 2, then we're going to break out into different rooms, and we're just going to spend only about 3 to 4 minutes, so it's not a big amount of time, just asking each other in a smaller room kind of what other people's posting strategies are or ideas around content strategy. And then we'll come back at the end and we'll get a spokesperson from each room to go and actually tell the group what their thoughts were. And hopefully through crowdsourcing, there'll be a few more different ideas for us today. So that's the game plan, all nice and tucked in and finished in time for you to go have another cup of tea in 45 minutes. Great. Okay, so here's kind of the first thing we want to think about. Look, what is the point on posting on the world's largest business network? And really it comes down to thinking, if you are the best kept secret, you are a secret. If you don't tell people about yourself, if you don't put yourself out there, nothing will come to you. In a world of noise, you have to do something to stand out, or at least be in the game, right? Just by having a LinkedIn profile does not mean that you will ever get an inquiry from it. Even if you optimize that profile as best you can, you have to do something to draw people to you. You have to do something to go out into the pond and fish some attention, fish some comments, fish some likes, fish some connections. And posting is that way. And it comes in so many different varieties. You know, you can go live, you can run events, you can do newsletters, you can run posts. You know, there's such a high hotspot of opportunity to be able to get that attention. But the whole point of that attention is that attention creates connection. Those connections create conversations, and those conversations create clients. Lots of C's there for you. So this is why posting on LinkedIn is super important. But here's the challenge that I want to give to you. When was the last time you did a scroll test and actually looked at what posts are actually seen on LinkedIn, or what posts are on your feed? Because I think this is super interesting. And let's just do one together this morning. Let's just stop that live stream. There we go. So let's head over to LinkedIn here. And so what I'm going to do is let's just go straight up to the top. So new posts, right? So this is my feed. Most of us come onto LinkedIn either through this or through your phone, where you're scrolling up and down, right? And so here we look at the actual posting piece, and we go, okay, this is interesting. We've now got a front screen here, and these are the posts. So let's have a look at this. So we're going to be sorting this. And the first one that I see is my first degree connection, and it is sharing a post here, which is a news. This is an article, right? So he's sharing an article in here, which is great, right? It's his newsletter. Okay. The next one down, I look here, and actually it's not one of my first degree connections. So if you think about you posting and you just think, I put a post out, my first degree see it, and then happy days, right? So at the moment we've seen two posts. One is from my first degree connection. This one is a suggestion of me and looking at business in Surrey, and it's actually a promoted post. So this is an ad. It's an ad, and it's using the fact that I am a connection, or my connections follow this, and this business page is therefore trying to get more followers, right? And you can see here it's a guide, right? So really interesting. The second post is an ad. The third post is not the fact that it's my first degree connections post, but it's someone commented on this, and so therefore it's showing up this post, right? It's a selfie type post. A nice post goes into something there, right? That was the third one. The fourth one here is a invitation to go and join something, right? An invitation to join this thing, whatever this thing is. And it is also a carousel, right? But it's a group. It's an invitation to join a group, which is really weird, right? Because how has that actually happened? How am I getting some sort of invitation to join this? The fifth one now, so we've only actually had two from my first degree connections. My fifth one is then to look at a LinkedIn learning course, right? So this isn't anything to do with any of my connections. This is just LinkedIn promoting its own one. That's the sixth one, right? The seventh one is a video, okay, this is an ad. So I've now got an ad. So in the first 7 things, I've only had 3 from my network and 4 that are kind of ads or suggestions or whatever it is, right? And this one is because someone in my connections has liked this post, and so then it's been suggested, right? So can you see how, and then again, I'm getting followed. So can you see how there's the way that you are getting stuff into your feed is because your first degrees are liking or commenting on stuff, or there's ads, or things are being suggested for you. It's a very interesting feed when you start to look at it. Even things like this, like job recommendations, or again, another ad that's being promoted. It is a hodgepodge of content. So we've got to think that actually we've got to look at not just posting, but we've got to think of things like trying to get likes, trying to get shares, trying to get comments, because that's what also then gets you into other people's feeds. It's really interesting to kind of see that and do that analysis. Right. So first of all, how do we start to tackle this feed and get in there? Because there's only a few people that are getting in there each time, right? So first of all, we want to make sure that we are credible. And that credibility is actually quite interesting to see, because LinkedIn actually gives you a ranking. It gives you a rating out of 100 on what it sees as your social selling index. And that's just a measurable way of being able to track how your profile is being viewed against other benchmarks in your industry and your network. And we can all go and play on this today, right? So if you haven't looked at your social selling index score for a little while, or you haven't actually done it ever before, click on this link here, or just Google social selling index. I'm going to stick it into the chat now for you. And go and click on this link and go and see what your social selling index is. And it will take you to a page that will look much like this. So this will be mine. And it will give you a ranking out of 100. And that ranking will then tell you, well, what percentage are you in terms of your industry? What percentage are you in terms of your network? So that will give you sort of a nice benchmark to work on. And then why don't we, for a bit of fun, if you guys are doing this with me, why don't you just chuck into the chat what yours is? So, mine is 72. There you go. And so why don't you guys in the chat just click it? And I'm sure there'll be some people in there that are beating me. So congratulations if you have done. And also the nice thing about this, checking it each time you see this or go onto this, it will give you different barometers on how you're doing now compared to what you're doing in the past, which is important. So this is LinkedIn giving you a ratio, and then it breaks it down into these 4 different components. And those 4 different components are around establishing your professional brand. And it gives you a little question mark here, and it helps to give you a clue on what it is actually ranking you on. So complete your profile with the customer in mind. Become a thought leader by publishing information that's meaningful, right? So when we talk about, and we do a session on this, optimizing your profile and making sure your profile kind of reads like a landing page, is because we're trying to get you to make it read for your target demographic. And so by getting your target demographic focused, that can work really, really well, right? So working this. And then finding the right people. So not only just making sure your profile and your content's for the right people, you then find those right people, you engage in the conversation that's worthy. So, I saw that scroll check test that we just did, and you see that people were sharing stuff, people were liking stuff, people were commenting stuff. Those people who are commenting, liking, sharing, obviously is putting those posts in other people's feeds, but in itself, is helping that person's SSI score to become more trusting. And if they're more trusting, then their posts also will get shared by other people. It's like that kind of you scratch my back, I scratch yours type strategy. And that will really help. And it has to be done, being thought about, done as a sustainable thing, continuously do it. And then you want to strengthen your relationship. So you're posting and commenting on people's stuff, you're creating your profile that's very much around your target demographic, and then you're building relationships with the right people, i.e. you're connecting with the right people. You have those right people in your network. Those people are then also liking, commenting on your stuff, right? So it then starts to really help. And so now you can start to see people in your industry and where you rank. So in terms of the people I'm connected with in my industry, it says that I'm 35. On average, their SSI is 35 out of 100, right? And interestingly, it will also tell you what industry it thinks that you're in. So for me, it thinks I'm in sales professionals in the advertising industry, right? So that's quite interesting, because is that really right for me? Probably not. So we need to kind of help to shape LinkedIn's kind of thought process around me. Now, obviously, LinkedIn's categories are a bit difficult, so it's hard to perfectly nail it, but it will give you a bit of an eye opener on where it thinks you are. And then it will look at what your average SSI is of people in your network. So the people that in my network average is 49, and I rank in the top 2%, right? So actually, do I want to kind of level up my network as well and try and get people who are higher ranked than that? So really interesting, because the point being here is when we think about what to post and the authority and how well your post will go, if you've got a high SSI and you're working on these different things, then it will allow your post to go further, but it will also mean that you're helping your post by doing a lot of this work. So I hope that's a little bit of an eye-opener. The next thing we want to look at is actually thinking about, well, the algorithm itself. Now, I love this post. I've shared it a few times before, but the point being is it just gives us a visual barrage, and we will make sure, Flora, if we can put this post into the chat, into the comments in the group so people can grab this, or if anybody wants to take a screenshot of it, feel free to do so now. This is infographic that was created after a podcast that was done by two of the head tech guys at LinkedIn, who for the very first time opened up about the algorithm and actually commented about a few of the changes, which had never happened before, which is why this was a significant moment. Happened a couple of years ago, but it was significant because they discussed the algorithm, which they've never done. They were very cagey about it before. And so this then gave us some really nice aha moments, and this infographic was created by Katrin, and it was great. This is a really important thing, right? So let's just pull out a few of these ones that I thought was really interesting. So let's start top left. So posting is not enough. Nurturing your post after publishing and stick around to engage with others. Now, this is what I really love, this concept. So it's the concept of don't just post and go. Just pop into LinkedIn, share your post, go again. What you want to do is you want to pop into LinkedIn, and we talk about the kind of half an hour rule, right? So first 15 minutes, go and like and comment and post on other people's stuff, right? And then interact, send a connection request, work upon those other SSI markers like engage with insights, comment and like other people's stuff, then post. And then what you do is you stick around. You're not the first person who posts on your post. There's actually a point on here about don't do that. Don't be the first person to comment on your own post. But once people do start to comment and like on your post, comment back to them straight away and nurture that post engagement. So the second 15 minutes is around that. So if you only spend 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn, post in the middle of those 30 minutes, and then keep on nurturing the comments and likes and sharing that elsewhere, sharing that post into groups, etc. And that will then help the deliverability and the reach, because that will give a bit of an outreach in your post. And it's always around that first 30 minutes or after a post actually is posted that the engagement spike will happen. So do continue to comment and like on those. Right. If you let's go down here. So let's look at this tag. So think about using tags wisely. Actually, it's really good if you tag in other influencers or other comment or other companies if you're referencing them in your post. I think that is really good. So make sure that if you're going to do that, they're highly likely to actually comment back on your post, right? So they're highly likely to comment back on that post, because that will then help. If they're not, and you're just tagging in Richard Branson, he's never going to communicate with you, then it actually can be detrimental, but it can be very positive if they do. Hashtags wise, right? Use more than 3, but less than 10. And yes, hashtags are still important because you want to make sure that you're in the feed for that conversation. And you're basically giving signposts to LinkedIn to say, hey, this is about this. Now, AI is always there to be able to read and document how it sees that post. But by you giving it these signposts, that will also help you to make sure that you stay within the category or the comments that you want within hashtags. So do still use them, right? This thing around consistency is key. So making sure that don't go, you're doing 2 or 3 posts a week, 3 or 4, you're ramping up nicely, but then you stop for a week and then you try and go again. You have to then go down the mountain because you've stopped, and then you've got to start in the foothills and then go back up the mountain to get that same reach. Don't just think if you have a break for a week or 2 weeks that your consistency will be the same. It won't be. So do make sure that you keep that going, just popping in, doing some content, doing some posting, etc. Right? Other things in here, so things like this selfies thing, they're seeing that selfies deliver 3 times more engagement and up to 2.5 times more reach, which is really interesting in terms of engagement using selfies. And that's just people by people, right? Particularly in this small business market. So using those selfies, a few of the examples when we were scrolling had selfies on it, didn't they? And then that will show. So look, I'm not going to go through every single point here because that gives you the ability to go and take this and review and maybe discuss. What I will give you now is 4 different ideas that might help you in terms of different post strategy now. And we'll go through those. So let me give you some ideas. So first of all, to get engagement, try and think about some different types of posting that would help. So LinkedIn carousels can work super well. The reason why they work well is that it's that linger time, right? So if you think about you're scrolling on your phone, if you pause and you start reading, that will show linger time. And if people are lingering your post, that was actually a marker. You might not have liked or commented it, but LinkedIn can see that. And so therefore we'll reward that post with additional reach. And that is something like a carousel is very easy for someone to linger on it, but also when they swipe left and they go through it, that is a marker to show that someone is engaging on the post. So that is engagement. And that will then help. So a carousel is designed for engagement. It hacks the algorithm to get engagement. So think about using carousels. And look, there's some really great ones. I mean, you can literally go on to Canva and just type in LinkedIn carousel templates. You upload them as a PDF, by the way. That's how you upload these, as you upload them as a document. And you can just go and grab one of these and just edit it, find the colors you like and edit the colors, add your pictures in, job done. You can do this for free. But it's well worth the effort because it's super, super powerful. And here's the other thing. You think, oh, well, what sort of carousels am I going to do? Well, ChatGPT, our friend, knows what a LinkedIn carousel is, and it can then go and do these edits for you and create a perfect carousel. Let me just give you a demo of that. If it loads. Come on, ChatGPT. Work for me. Okay, good stuff. So create a LinkedIn, oh, hello, LinkedIn carousel about what makes a great LinkedIn post. Make my CTA to comment your best in the chat. Right, great. So that's it. So CTA, call to action, by the way. So slide 1, hook, cover slide. What makes a great LinkedIn post? Here we go. Slide 2, this, and a nice statistic. Start with a strong hook. Tell a story, share an insight. I like it. Keep it skimmable. Here's some great tips for us as well. We can talk about this. Add value with a takeaway. So you can see here that these comments are in here. So all I need to do, and there's a nice little takeaway final slide in here, right? You can see how quick and easy that is. And then I grab this, I take this, I copy and paste it into one of these templates. Jobs are good and chuck it out on LinkedIn. Happy days. And that is how it works. And we've done loads of these. Once we've got this is one that we just launched about unlock the power of your LinkedIn profile through a LinkedIn profile audit. And once you've got this thing locked in, you can do, this is linked. This is one we built out in Canva. You just got a template. This is our template, and we use it, and we've got a lovely little carousel, which you can share on other places as well. But this works well. And everybody's saying, look, do you use the free or the paid ChatGPT? I use the paid because I do loads on it. But that example is an example that you could just use on a free. You wouldn't need the paid to write that prompt that I just did there with this output. You would that would be easily done on the free version. You certainly wouldn't need the paid version. Good. Okay, so next thing that we want to think about is, well, let's just go on to here. We want to be thinking about ask questions. So this is a tactic that I know that's worked really, really well for people who are thinking about running posts. And if you can try and ask questions in it. So as you work through, you can see here's a great one from Laura who works within this, and you've got this. So what is empathy? What does empathy matter as a leader? But it's like that question mark. It draws people through. And if you ask questions as they go, then people will then start to answer them. So really, really interesting about this. The other thing that I see there is that she's also tagging in. You see how she's referencing people and tagging them in, and she's also then going a recent survey and she's tagging in here, and she's then crediting these people in here. So referencing those. This posted really well actually for her, went viral. So it's simple. There's no picture or anything, but she used questions, she used emojis, she referenced people. Really, really nice. And then you can also see short clip, link in the comments below, and a little arrow as well. She's referencing call to actions throughout it. So that works well. as we talked about, use a selfie. Selfies can work great. This is one from Lizzie talking about when she came on the $1 Million Sprint Retreat. We climbed Snowdon together. And she got some great comments. So 70 comments, 80 likes, and then a really nice post. Yes, it is a long post, but she used emojis and it's scannable. But she had that great picture and that worked really well. So do think story and selfies worked really well. So here you go. So share videos. Now, this is quite interesting because actually LinkedIn brought out in November this little button that was the short form videos. And actually, I was looking down as we were doing this because I saw someone in the chat said that LinkedIn has just stopped and moved the video button. So I used to. So if you look here on the left hand side, now let me just blow this up for you. This is like this is new because I'm really bullshitting these short form videos, but you see here, this is LinkedIn's app here for your phone. And here on the left-hand side, there's videos. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can have a look now, but has your video button actually been removed from your phone? I'd love to have the poll. Mine has been. It's gone. That's happened this week. That's fascinating. So I'm really intrigued because this was, I obviously put the slides together. I've had this slides together for a little while, but that was working last week. I almost feel like it was working on Monday. That's just gone. So LinkedIn short form videos, they have, and I'm sure there must be a way of finding it again. I don't know. Really fascinating. So there was a button here that you could swipe up, and it's like an Instagram channel. And you swipe up and you look at it and you're liking stuff exactly like Instagram stories. And they built that in November, and it was like everywhere piling into short form videos, and your short form videos doing really well. That's just gone. So if that's gone, that makes a very interesting conundrum in terms of what their content plan is. So we'll have to do a bit more research on that. So in fact, I think that that's something well worth having a further look at. Now, what I was saying is that because LinkedIn put that in November, that means that LinkedIn is putting a bias on short form video. So you should do lots of short form video because short form video goes faster and longer. But by the looks of things, they've now just removed it this week. Literally, I think it might have been yesterday because otherwise I would have noticed. So there you go, hot off the press. So actually, from $1 Million Sprint team, Flora Fago, could you do some research on that and just see what the word on the street is around removing of short form video? And does anybody know? By the way, actually, let's have a look. Let's do a little bit of this. Does anybody know anything about that? Look at this. I love this. This is why. Jane, go for it.
I did this last week. You can pre-record a thing onto your phone, and then if you click post at the bottom, that menu that just came up, then it asks, one of the options is media, and media, you can choose anything from in your phone. So it could be
sorry. I posted thousands of short form videos on LinkedIn. It's the removal of the button from the app. Sorry, Jane, I didn't put context into the question. Yeah. So I've done, I've been pushing people to do this for this year because it's been brand new. And actually the short form videos have done exceptionally well up until this week where they've now removed that button. So and I don't know if it means that they're gone, but actually, what does that mean? What does that mean for the feed? Mir, do you have any idea on this? Mia, you're muted.
Right, okay, I'm just reading on the internet, dated the 15th of March. LinkedIn experiments with removing the video tab in some countries. It's rolling out its full screen design in feeds globally after testing it for the past 2 months. In addition, LinkedIn will begin testing different video placements. And in some countries, the video tab and the videos for you experience may be temporarily removed from the app.
Yeah.
If the video tab is removed, the My Network tab will be moved to left to replace it. And the post button will be in the middle. So it seems like they're testing different things in different countries.
Yeah. Well, it's gone. Yeah.
It might be an American thing, I hate to say.
Well, I mean, the point being is that actually it came with its own controversy because it's LinkedIn trying to be TikTok or Instagram. And I don't think we wanted that, did we? To be honest, there's plenty of places for short form content, and actually, it's just it's doom scrolling. Ultimately, when anybody talks about doom scrolling, they're not talking about going through LinkedIn articles, are they? It's 1 minute videos of cats falling out of trees or people dancing to the funky chicken to some sort of weird music, right? So it's not really LinkedIn appropriate. Now there was lots of little snippets of advice, etc., which is one of the things that we thought would be good, and it did well. And Gail says it depends on how well Trump gets on with your government. I think Trump's the reason for this. He must be. But the point of this, though, guys, is that this is what actually having your ear to the ground at the sharp end and seeing this stuff come in and out, and then actually thinking, well, if that's happened, then what should we be focusing on? So that would be, and this is me just kind of just chewing the fat with you now because I'm making assumptions now without any research. But if they're removing short form video, that means that they're going to put a bias onto things that are that there are the kind of traditional side. So I would argue that things like going back to those selfie type posts, going back to the carousel type posts, because they do well. And actually, two of the examples that we did when we did the LinkedIn scroll feed at the beginning of the session were carousels. And two of them were selfies. I think also that one of them was a LinkedIn newsletter as well. So newsletters are really part of LinkedIn's kind of heartland. So I think it's going to be quality content, decent posts, and it's going to be stuff that people read and linger on, professional type of content. So really, really cool. I love it. Okay, great. So why don't we throw this into the mix? Okay, so this seems like a really good time to actually get you guys to talk to each other about what you see happening here and get some ideas. And then why don't we all come back together in 5 minutes time, share those ideas, and then we can wrap up the session. Look, before we do this, because I think there may be some really interesting insights from you guys, and also I hope that you can see that we're always kind of got our ear to the ground with this, and we've got some other things that we can help you with. We offer for free, if anybody wants to have this and feels like they could do with a little bit of one-to-one help with their LinkedIn profile, we offer a free LinkedIn profile audit. And I thought I'd tell you now, just before we go into breakout, because sometimes we lose people in the breakout and then come back before doing it. So in the breakout, if you want to talk to other people but who might have had one of these free LinkedIn profile audits, they are totally free. There's no catch. And we do this as part of our quest to help our community improve their LinkedIn profiles, look at things like your headline effectiveness, look at your banners. I'm just going to put this into the chat now so you can click on the link and set that up. There's only a few that we do per week, so they are limited, but we will look at exactly how your profile is set up, how it will be affected by the SSI score, how do you improve based upon some of these things that we've talked about so far in the chat. So that's into there. And actually do think, if I show you here, do jump on this because there's only a few. So there's only a couple in there for Monday. There's nothing less this week. So there's only a few. There's a few on Tuesday there. So if you want one of these, have one. Annette's saying very kindly that she had one last week and it's very useful. So that's great. Okay. So there's that one there. I'm going to then open the breakout room. So what I'd ask is that if we could then do that for 5 minutes and then come back and say what the one tip is from each of that breakout rooms. If you can appoint a spokesperson, that would be fantastic. And then I'll be fascinated to hear what you all think from this. So we're going to open the breakout rooms. We're going to go for 5 breakout rooms and we're going to create those now. So join them as you can. So here we go. Open all rooms and I'll see you in 5 minutes. Good to see you guys back. Fantastic. I hope that was useful. I really like breakout rooms. It just gives the time to kind of download a few of the ideas, meet people, of course. That's the beauty of it. We can actually see and talk to the people that come to this. And thank you, because I know there's a few people who come regularly who very much are helpful to kind of foster a bit of a debate that is happening there and making sure that people are having their their opportunity to share. So thank you. So what I'd love to do just for the last couple of minutes is if we can use the reaction button here and just put the team leaders. So press the heart button and then raise your hand at the bottom, and then put the team leaders across the top. And if you didn't nominate a spokesperson, or I say team leader, I mean spokesperson for the group, just put your hand up if you feel like you've got something that you'd like to share from your group, particularly if there's no one else with their hand up for it. So we're going to go Frank, Cyber Frank. I love it. First, and then off to Dawn. And then we'll look for, I think there should be 3 other people who are going to share, because there's for 5 breakout rooms. So over to you, Cyber Frank.
Yes, so we had 2 conclusions, which Simon happily shared for us. One was importance of choosing the images, because you want to choose images which will actually stop people in their tracks and make them think. And the second one was that we all thought the carousels were on the way up and it was a great idea.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody kind of went into them really hard at one point, and then it kind of fell away a bit, because I think there's lots of tools. And do you know why? It's because they're a little bit harder to create than just doing a selfie and putting a post on. But it hacks the algorithm and the engagement, and most people don't think about that it's not just the likes and the comments that you need, it's the linger time on a post and the interaction on the post that will help the reach. And of course, as we said, there was 2 examples in that short feed that we looked at. So really cool. Thank you so much. Great ideas. Dawn, over to you.
We had a couple of takeaways. First one was newsletters. One lady did a newsletter and got 82 subscribers in the first week, I believe.
So just say that. So they launched the LinkedIn newsletter and got how many subscribers in the first week?
82.
82. That's fantastic. And there's great examples of people doing very well with those LinkedIn newsletters by launching one. And if people haven't seen that, we got a free training on LinkedIn newsletters in the community. So that's really worth looking into. Thank you, Dawn.
I think we have to be careful about the frequency. I don't know about anyone else. We didn't discuss this, but my view is if you make it weekly, I'm not going to read it. It's too much. I've got too many others that I'm reading.
So
that's a personal opinion.
So here's the thing. Not everybody's ever going to read every single one of your posts. And so don't ever kind of presume your own ability to read content as the reason why you shouldn't put content out.
No.
Because at any given day, people are going to be like, I'm on LinkedIn today, and then they might not be on LinkedIn next Tuesday. So the point being is that when you're putting it out, just keep the frequency going, because only a fraction of your audience will ever see any post anyway. So don't ever presume that everybody's going to see it every week, right? So just go for it.
Okay. The second point was David has created several groups. And so that has generated lots of subscribers to the groups. However, it's also brought a number of people that pitch. And you can't take them out of your. Well, it's very difficult to filter those people out. But anyway, it's got lots of eyes. And of course, if you're posting in those groups and those people interested, it's a good ploy. I think that was probably the best tip that we had.
Yeah, groups are really good. And also you can therefore get details from people as they join the group, and then follow them up with hey, welcome to the group. By the way, this group has got this X, Y, and Z happening in it, and it can work really well. So a group strategy is a great idea, and using other people's groups to post your content into as well, that can be great. But don't sell in those groups, because the point being is if you want to put an offering of free content into the groups, you better get help and support back. I like that. Any other spokespeople who want to volunteer for their breakout room? No? Penny, yes, go for it. And then Jane.
Hi. I think in our group we talked about that selfies with a story or a recommendation were really powerful. That was my personal experience. Someone else said the kind of videos off the cuff, going around pointing out historical things was also very sort of powerful, that people are responsive and engage with things that are sort of not so shiny and glittery, not finished off, but personal engagement. So those were the two things that were spoken. And that we also found that polls, we haven't found polls to be particularly helpful in engaging people. We don't really get a lot of responses. So those were the three outstanding things. Mia, if I've forgotten anything, step in.
I love it. So polls will always come down to, don't ask your audience to do too much. Polls are brilliant for getting engagement, but you need to do a yes no answer, right? So if I say to you, so say I'm an accountant, right? And I will say something like, do you do some tax planning to make sure you don't pay enough at the end of the year? Yes, I tax plan. No, I don't. Yes, I take advantage of this as the options or whatever it is. That's way too personal. And I don't want to wash my dirty linen in public by voting on that, because it's me saying about my own tax affairs. Whereas if you rephrase that to say, do you think it's important that a business owner plans for their tax at the end of each year? Yes, no. Then I am making a comment about something, and then that will get the engagement. And then based upon that engagement, then you can still then reach out to those people who do vote on that poll and connect with them and talk to them. But you're just not asking them to answer something personal. You're just asking something about an industry and working in there. Works beautifully. And it works like a carousel, because you're spiking the algorithm, you're getting engagement. So try that with your polls, and that might actually that little small tweak will really help. Cool. Just before we go on to Nicholas, who's next with his hand up there, and Jane, I think you also were going to share. Just conscious of time, so if you are shooting off because we're just before, and please do jump on. If you haven't booked one yet, do jump into this free LinkedIn profile order. I don't know if anybody spoke to people within the breakout rooms, but it's totally free. There's no catch, and there's a load of people who have already booked those, so they're filling up. So if you want to take one of the last few spaces available this month, basically, there's no, after these set are gone, that's the rest of this month. So do jump onto those, grab those last two spaces if you haven't got them, and looking forward to seeing you guys and reviewing your LinkedIn profile. Good. Okay. We're going to crack on, and I'm happy to stick around. I would love to hear from if Jane's happy to stick around, and of course now listening to Nicholas, let's share some other ideas. Nicholas, over to you. You're muted, buddy.
I'm not muted now. Thanks, Richard. Sorry about that. It's a while since I've done one of these. Let's see. I brought up, first of all, newsletters, which someone else mentioned, and the value of the newsletter, having kind of sustained value and building a following of people who are interested in what you're talking about. And what it did for me is it stopped me posting quite so often. And one of the problems with posting quite so often is that you start writing rubbish. Quality of post, I think, is really important. And the other thing that surprised me a little bit is someone else brought up, videos are really important for getting engagement. So I'm going to start making videos. I think another person said something about the post being personal, and the relevance to people emotionally, I think, is really important.
Exactly. So quality of posts, and also I think blended media. So posts with selfies, newsletters, carousels, videos, blending that media across the week, as well as making sure that each one is of quality content, and also repurpose, right? So if you make a lovely carousel, then you put it out today. Why can't you put that back out again in 3 months' time? Why not?
Comment. I did my first carousel the other day. It's actually really easy. I thought it wasn't. It is really, really easy to do. And I think they're really good if you think them through properly. And I don't agree that they're going out of fashion. I think they're a really good way to communicate.
They are, yeah, exactly. Some really, it's like taking bullet points of a synopsis of an article, isn't it? And then just going, okay, that's great. Here's the key points. I love it. Jane, I'm going to give you the line now. So over to you, Jane. What happened, or what were your thoughts?
Well, we were in the same group. I think there were three other things that were a build on everything that everybody else has said, new things, I mean. One was attention grabbing headlines, particularly if they're a bit contentious, can draw people in. You know, you make a statement about something and brings people in. Another one was somebody in our group is engaging with posts and reposting on the same material and area that she is focused on, so that you're engaging with the same pool of people, reposting their stuff, they might repost yours, and it builds your audience as well. So you're kind of mutually benefiting from that.
Yeah. And that will help with the SSI score as well. Yeah.
And the third one, I didn't quite get to hear the why. So one person said saving a post, and then we flipped back into the room. So I don't know what the benefit of that was, but somebody in our group said saving a post can ...
The saving a post piece is another marker, right? So if you like and comment on people's posts, that will help that post. If you save that post, it's another like tick in the box that LinkedIn is like, oh, that post also getting saved, right? So it's just showing that people are enjoying that content and working it through. So I hope that helps. Look, thank you all for sharing, and I really do appreciate that. Sue, sorry, I know you got your hand up, but I'm going to wrap now just because I've got a 10 o'clock that I'll be jumping on as well, and that's for the $1 Million Sprinters, some of which are in this room. So $1 Million Sprinters, we'll close this room and then we'll pop it back up again, and then we'll have a further debate and conversation around this and discuss this. If you are part of LinkedIn for Breakfast, thank you all for coming. I'll either see you on a LinkedIn profile audit, or I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 o'clock, or I'll see you in the community. The replay will be tagged at the top of the group. And thank you all. If you need any resources that you've heard today, or you want any further information, you think we might be able to get it to you, please do ask. I really love doing these sessions, and I really love it when we do some engagement. So thank you all, and please invite friends, colleagues, business partners into the best way to share is just share our school community, and we'd love to keep on growing this group. So thank you all.